Welcome back to the Proving Grounds. I am Andrew, and today we're going to talk about the protesting and rioting going on in New York City. Now, over last week, especially last weekend, you had issues going on in New York City where, once again, people were peacefully protesting and criminal element slithered right in there and used peaceful protest as an excuse to commit wanton acts of violence and destruction. I mean, you even had lawyers throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars, allegedly, right? And again, you saw that it happened all over the city. It happened in Manhattan. Just, again, people robbing stores, vandalizing things, setting things on fire, assaulting people, and all this chaos. Not only does it bring out the left-wing crazies like Antifa and creates more tension and division, and also overshadows the message, right? The message is man was unjustly killed in police custody. And anyone who's seen the video knows how appalling it actually was. And what is the response in New York City from Mayor De Blasio? Well, for starters, he decides to try to appease the mob and say, I'm with all the protests. I'm with all of you. Everyone. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Basically, get it out of your system because of all the past injustices in America. It's on us. Now, he's supposed to be your chief executive in New York City. Instead of being the chief executive of New York City, he's being the chief activist. Same thing with Police Chief Moynihan. This guy thinks taking a knee with protesters and begging them not to act violently. So first of all, he goes to a peaceful crowd, decides to kneel with them because he's hoping it'll appease the mob. And the mob is not the peaceful protesters. It's actually all the people who showed up just to commit wanton acts of violence. And those people don't care. The activist groups like Black Lives Matter that are showing up to empower themselves and gain attention for themselves also don't care. Their agenda is above and beyond anything you have to say. They don't care if you kneel. They don't care if you appear sympathetic. They don't care. Not only that, you're not doing your job. The NYPD, the police officers, the guys on the ground, they're doing their jobs as best they can. But what backing do they have? Let's ask that question. What backing do they have? Zero. I will guarantee you that's a zero. You know, and you're already seeing it. Oh, what happens if this guy does this guy does that? Is it police brutality to put down a guy throwing a rock at you? Pepper spraying someone throwing rocks at you? Then you're arresting people who are throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars and they're being let out on bail? What's up with that? I'm sorry, let out without bail? Because of the anti-bail laws now, the bail reform laws. You know, they're arresting people and they have to release them. So these criminals have no reason to stop being criminals because you're not taking them off the streets for the night. And, again, you just don't see the reaction of people who are supposed to be in charge of the city and in charge of its security to protect innocent bystanders from criminal activity, to protect the people who live there from having their businesses being vandalized. You have excuses being made. Oh, well, yeah, maybe you lost your shop. Maybe you were already on the verge of going out of business and you were just about to reopen and a bunch of people came in and kicked in your door, stole all your stuff, and burnt your store out. Well, sucks to be you because other people have it worse, so tough. Just have to deal with it. And that's a completely asinine response. One, it doesn't work. As you've seen, it's starting to peter out. That's just because the cops are doing their job. But here you have the chief executive of the city coming out and empowering these criminals and bolstering the supposed message that they're claiming. No one has a right to go and commit acts of violence or commit an injustice to combat an injustice. That's ridiculous. And if anything, to me, they're fanning the flames. They're egging them on. Well, what's wrong with the police chief saying, look, I support peaceful protests. You have a right. I'm appalled at what happened. As a police officer, I wouldn't stand for this happening in my department. If I found out something like this happened in my department, we put a stop to it, post haste. We would prosecute, we'd charge people, we'd prosecute them, we'd get them off the force, put them in jail where they belong. You want to have your kumbaya moment, go for it. But also somewhere in there should be, we will stop criminals and criminal activity. We don't want to have to send people home. We don't want to have to not let you protest peacefully. But if there's a giant crowd of people committing acts of violence, we will give you a warning, and we may have to disperse you using chemical agents if people continue to throw rocks and Molotov cocktails and, burn out stores and cars and everything. Or there's always going to be some jackass out there who goes, oh, yeah, you're not letting me do what I want and peacefully assemble. It's not a peaceful assembly if you have, hey, how about this? As soon as you start seeing people throw rocks, you look at the guy and go, hey, jackass, stop throwing rocks. Don't hit people with bike locks. What's she doing throwing a Molotov cocktail? I think we need to take the peaceful protest and move over here and let the cops go over there and take care of the criminals. So let me be clear. I am 100% for the First Amendment. I am for people peacefully protesting and getting a message across. Okay, especially when it's a noble message of we cannot allow agents of the government to commit wanton acts of violence against citizens. Can't have people dying in police custody that didn't have to die. Okay, especially when you have an act of force being perpetrated on someone who isn't being violent, isn't fighting, isn't struggling. Handcuffs are on, and they die because someone wanted to make a point. I don't know. I don't want to pretend to know what the mindset of these police officers were. What I do know is they acted inappropriately. It's disgusting that this man had to die. And to me, it's also disgusting that people are co-opting what should be a message of change, right? Something needs to change. And whether that's better training for police, especially obviously in that area like Minneapolis, saying, hey, maybe we need to look at protocols. Maybe there should be some reforms. So that dialogue, that conversation isn't going to happen as long as people are burning things up. The only thing you're going to see, look at the media. The only thing you really see are all the negative things going on right now because that's what sells. And you got these groups just empowering themselves, looking for donations to run their groups, to go to other cities and wreak havoc and enjoy the chaos. A lot of these organizations are not really looking to solve issues. They're just looking to find excuses to tell everyone, let's burn it all down. Let's defund the police because that'll make you safer. So I think one of the more important things is, tell these inept buffoons to stop empowering criminals to go do criminal activities, to stop, pretending like kneeling and pleading with the crowd that's actually being peaceful, mind you, to not be violent. It's idiotic. Okay? And these guys can't be that stupid as to actually believe that the people that they're standing around in their little press conferences have any juice with the criminals coming out of the woodwork looking to commit crime. And a lot of these people are just nihilists. They hate life in general. They just want to see the world burn. Or they're leftists. They hate American ideals. They hate America as it is. They want to change it into their Marxist utopia. A lot of authoritarians. They want to see the government in control of everything. Let you have what little scraps you can get because they envision themselves as being the guy in the $3,000 suit with gold tassels and everything, living in a mansion with silk toilet paper. They don't think they're going to be in a breadline someday. And again, you see how I'd already digressed from the main message of Police brutality is bad. Police should be held to a higher standard. That's going on a mass scale all over the country. That's the message that should be getting pushed. Hey, bad actors in the police force should be taken care of. Okay, that's it. Obviously, no one should be putting up with that, being a party to an unjust killing. There are cops that are lucky enough to have a whole career where they don't have to shoot someone, they don't have to struggle with someone, and they die. And a lot of cops, the reason why they have to go see mandatory counseling is because it messes people up when they do have to use that weapon. And again, those conversations aren't being had because all you have are people saying all cops are evil, all cops want to kill people. You become a cop because you want to beat up some black dude and you want to shoot this guy and you think you're a cowboy. And that, the guys that I know that are police officers, they're not like that. They actually don't want to run around shooting people. They want to go to work. They actually want to protect the community. They want to know that they're backed up, that when they do the right thing, that people like Chief Moynihan will back them up, that Bill de Blasio will back them up, that Governor Cuomo will back them up, that they're not going to be on the front page of the Times or on CNN doing their job and then being like, see, this is what we mean. This guy tackled this other dude, throwing Molotov cocktails around, didn't want him to hit a group of people. What a scumbag. He shouldn't have tackled him like that. He should have, used his IPC skills and Houdini'd the bottle out of the air with a trick shot that would shoot it over a building where it wouldn't hurt anybody. You've seen already, again, I believe it was Joe Biden talking about, oh yeah, you should shoot the wound. Obviously has absolutely no conception what happens when people have to draw a weapon in the line of duty and what happens to the human body when flight or fight response is triggered. It's actually a good topic for another video. So again, watch out for these bad actors. Don't get suckered into donating money to a group that really isn't about highlighting real injustice in society. Don't support these Antifa clowns who just want to watch it all burn. Watch out. If you don't believe me, look into Black Lives Matter and what they really say. Not just the big slogan that they say up front to get in the door, but what they're really saying at these rallies and stuff. Don't get hoodwinked. It's okay to get the feels, have a little bit of emotion, but don't let your emotions rule you. Try to take a step back and say, okay, what's really going on here? Who's benefiting? Who's really benefiting from all of this chaos? How do we get this more positive message out there? Let's not let this happen again. Let's fix this. Okay, because things are fixable. Human beings are fallible creatures, but we can fix this. We can find a way to not have these knuckleheads out there causing problems like this. You have to remember, humans are involved. So there's going to be a certain amount of just people who are dumb, people who are bad at their job, people who slip through the cracks. You're going to have people who just get away with committing, bad deeds for a while, and then it catches up with them like this, possibly like this. So, let's not paint all police officers with this broad brush of being, this big gang of blue who just want to crush everyone in their wake. That's not really the way it is. So, and let's also not forget that George Floyd died unnecessarily. And it's appalling what happened to him, and it shouldn't ever have to happen to anyone again. So with that, be safe. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. And let me know how you like it. Especially let me know what you don't like. Give me the good, the bad, and the ugly.